Hi, Mohammed. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining me.
Nice to meet you.
Could we start with you telling us what you do and how long you've been doing it?
So I have created my own multifamily office in 2021. So it's an investment company that invests in across multiple sectors. We invest mostly in biotech, life science, medtech. We also invest in logistics technologies. We invest in media tech, and we also invest in fintech. We're a group of experts in all these sectors. So our investment process is very institutionalized.
Okay. So did you own a business before? Is this your first business, or have you had multiple businesses?
No, I have been an entrepreneur since 2012. So
okay.
Before 2012, I used to work for banks and hedge funds, and I decided to become an entrepreneur in 2012.
Okay. So since 2012, what do you think has been the biggest learning you've had about being in business?
Good question. The biggest learning I've had was to what is important is to think long term and not to think on the short term.
Yeah.
I think one of the other learnings I've had is to make sure you have the right team and you work with the right partners.
Yeah.
It's very important to choose your right business partners and to treat your team like family.
Yeah, exactly. So just out of interest, in your career, either before you had your own business or since then, have you had one inspiring leader that stood out, or a coach or a mentor that you've had that has inspired you?
There are plenty, but I think the person who really inspires me is Henry Kravis, who's the founder of KKR.
Yeah.
It's funny because I watched there was a movie about him called Barbarians in the Gates.
Okay.
And this is a gentleman he's actually the guy who founded or the pioneer of the private equity business.
Okay.
And I was just very impressed by his drive, by his hard work, and by basically his intelligence. And I have met him once in a restaurant in London.
Okay. Did you chat to him?
Yeah, we spoke.
Fantastic. Okay, so thinking about with the new business that you started in 2021, what's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome in that time?
Good question. The biggest challenge again is to find the right team and the right business partners. I think the way I look at business is like I look at it as family, and I think if you cannot treat your team and your business partners like family in a way where you can rely on them, they can rely on you, you can trust them, they can trust you, and there is a need of some the way I manage and the way I do business is I think it's not only business, it's also personal. So you need to have a personal angle with these people. And for me, that was the biggest challenge, because I think when you work with the right people and you have the right team, I think you can go very far and you can overcome almost any obstacle.
Okay, thank you. And what about you? What has been your biggest learning on the journey so far?
Good question. My biggest learning on the journey is it's fine to, I had a period in my business where I had problems, litigations, etc. And my biggest learning is just to realize that it's normal to have issues in business. It's normal to have big issues. You just have to keep working hard. That's it. And I think by hard work you can go very far.
Exactly. okay, so thinking about the industry that you're in at the moment and the market, what's inspiring you the most at the moment?
What I like in the industry I do, because 99% of the investments we make are in venture capital, and I would say half of the 99% is in life science, which means like biotech, medtech, etc.
Yeah.
And you know what's, when we used to work in banking, for us, like the inspire people who inspire you, or people you who basically are your examples, are people who are like good traders at hedge funds, or good M&A people who work at banks, etc. But what I like the most about what I do now is how smart are the people I meet, like especially the entrepreneurs. I mean, and most importantly, the scientists.
Yeah,
And
I
like
can imagine.
especially in like the biotech, the medtech space. I mean, you're talking about like people where there are maybe just less than 10 people in the world as smart as them, and they can be creating the next generation of drugs who will cure like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or like things that people die. So you really feel the impacts, and that's why I like it, because I think I will keep doing it for the next, until I die, because I think you're doing something nice. You're helping people.
Doing something good. Yeah.
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 It's not. I mean, of course, making money, succeeding, etc., is part of the journey. But you know, I think it's good to have both.
Exactly. Okay, so thinking about going forward in that area, then what do you see as the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenges is, in my opinion, is to the access to the good companies and to the good deals. And I don't see capital as a challenge. I don't see access to capital as a challenge. I think the challenge is really to have access to companies with breakthrough technologies and with what we call like game changers. For me, that's the biggest challenge, is to have access to this type of company. It's and to identify them early.
Yeah, and how do you do that at the moment? How are you
The way we
finding
do
these
it is
companies?
we have a very robust board, and we also have a group of experts that help us in the deal sourcing and in the identification of the companies and on the assessment of their technologies. And I think especially when you look at deep tech, biotech, etc., you need to understand the science. At the end of the day, there is a part that is like understanding the business parts, and understanding how the business works is something we can get our head around with very quickly.
Yeah.
But science, you need to have scientists to understand it, and you need people in the team who are scientists who understand the science, or you need access to very strong scientists who can give you like honest opinions and do like a very deep due diligence on these technologies.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So final question is, what would you recommend to a young person starting their first business in today's world?
Good question. When I look at a business, generally there are lots of people think, and especially a lot of entrepreneurs think, that the most important, the biggest hurdle in the business is access to capital. I actually don't think the access to capital is the biggest hurdle, especially when you're like working in like in environments like London, New York, etc., where you have a very strong capital markets, a very big base of investors, etc. I think for every company, I would say 10% is the idea, is how genuine is the idea. I think the capital is maybe 10% as well, and 80% is the execution. So I think that the most important in a business or in an idea is the execution. Is the solid, is the founder, the team, etc. Are they capable of executing? And I think and I think that's what some entrepreneurs need to remember. I mean, it's about being able to deliver on the business plan you basically pitch, and being able to deliver on the idea, because everyone has good ideas. Everyone has like outstanding ideas, and there is a lot of money in this world. There is a lot of capital. There is access to capital is not super hard.
Yeah.
but not everyone can execute.
So just thinking about those people there that do execute it well, what are the characteristics, or what do they embody?
I think hard work is number one, the number one requirement.
Yeah.
Hard work, humility, the ability to listen.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the middle of a business and you think you have the best idea, keep working. You don't. Sometimes you don't tend to take distance from yourself and from your business and see what needs to be improved here. It's the ability to listen, humility, and to communicate, and integrity.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think most importantly, the ability to listen is very important, because when an entrepreneur builds a business, sometimes you're lucky. The first 1-2 years are good, and you think you already imagine in yourself that your company is going to become unicorn, etc. But no, you have to stay humble and keep working hard,
and not always think that you know everything. Yeah.
Exactly. I've seen cases of people who did not stay humble and their business did not work.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Great advice. Well, thank you very much, Mohammed. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you. My pleasure. Bye-bye.